as a futurist, we've been talking about this for about 8 to 10 years now. The university,
Have you really?
Yeah, the University of Wellington in New Zealand about 8 years ago began the whole discussion. 3 academics in a major study were saying that humanoid sex robots would be a good thing for 2 reasons. They said to stop sex trafficking in Southeast Asia, sex tourism, and to reduce the spread of HIV/AIDS. But there are arguments on the other side, and I would tend to lean more this way, which talk about the objectification of the human body and what that does to the way we relate to one another. So if a man, for example, is having all of his sexual experience with a
machine,
he begins to treat women as a literal object. And it is more often men than it is women with these things. How will they then develop friendships, work relationships, parenting relationships with people of the female gender? And it comes this on the back of a story yesterday in one of the papers about the link between heavy use of pornography and the early breakdown of marriages. You know, if we learn to objectify human beings, we have great trouble relating to them. And so there's much more to this whole sex toy, sex robotics story than simply the whiz-bang idea, bells and whistles, robots, you know.
Which is often what the headlines, is that what the paper, that's the Telegraph this morning?
The Telegraph, yeah. The Telegraph was talking more about the fact that government ministers are not well informed on this. But hey, if they're not informed on Facebook, how are they going to be informed on this?
But the market's going to lead the way on this, isn't it? Governments, as usual, wake up in a year or so's time or longer and say, well, what should we have done about this?
Well, that's the difference, though, between political management to me and political leadership. And it comes across to Brexit as well. Management's about metrics, numbers, targets, all of that. But leadership's about defining culture.
And strategy.
And strategy.
Long-term direction.
To reach the vision for the long term.
But what can governments do to legislate against this, or what?
Well, they can regulate the production of them and the marketing of them, for a start, before they become big news. They can get in ahead of the curve. I think they can also set up or support charities and others that would be needed to help people deal with the problems that come from this sort of...
None of which is going to happen anytime soon.
Well, I say it optimistically.
Yes.